All right. Well, welcome, Matt. It's great to see you again. And welcome to the audience. My name is Chase. I'm a principal strategist here at JumpCloud. And at JumpCloud, we often say that connecting people to the IT resources they need is the most important thing that a managed service provider does, right? And being able to do that securely, frictionlessly, and especially in today's environment, it's kind of a tall order. So we wanted to share some of the best practices, lessons learned, and some sage advice from leaders all around the world. And with that, I wanted to introduce Matt from TechOnPurpose. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, Chase, good to see you again, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and welcome. So let's kick off with some intros and some background on you and the business. So tell me a little bit about yourself, the business, your customers, and the role that you play within that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, guys, we've obviously had this conversation before. We've got a new audience, and so let's see, abbreviated format. So TechOnPurpose is a Austin, Texas-based managed service provider. We serve clients globally in everything from the nonprofit sector to the for-profit sector, and everything from sizes of a few to thousands, right? And we tend to provide 100% of the technology that our clients use today. And that's everything from the cables in the wall to the infrastructure that they hold in their hand and all the points in between, all the way out to the cloud apps that they use.
Got it. Well, and technology continues to be game-changing for organizations, but not every organization has the leverage to, or the expertise to put it into action. So tell us a little bit about your organization and what helps, those amazing impact stories that you have in changing the trajectory of your customers leveraging that technology.
Man, that's awesome. And, I had no idea what questions you were going to ask. And so I'm glad that I have readily available thoughts, ideas, and answers here. So that's good, though. I like the spontaneity. So guys, some of our secret sauce, right? We tend to be a team from start to finish, through how we started our company, through the people that we hire and the way that we train our people, that generally are folks that are passionate about service, regardless of where they're coming from, right? So we love serving others. We love exceeding expectations. We also tend to have an affinity for finding people that are exceedingly capable of technology, right? And so what we're out in the marketplace looking for people who have a need for technology and a desire for quality service. And, we match a deed to that need, right? And so, man, we got lots of those, right? We have folks that we'll meet that are literally, let's say in the retail space, long time established and having problems with scaling their organization because of problems with POS systems and the connectivity of POS systems. And we'll go into the marketplace, we'll assess their environment. And long story short, we'll solve those problems for them in such a way that they can now replicate them to scale. And for a client of that type in particular that I'm thinking of, they've gone from, a couple of locations to eight Texas-based locations. And if you like barbecue, I can tell you where to go eat great barbecue. We have other clients in different industries, right? I know one in particular that comes from the sort of the construction industry, right? And they had a 20-plus-year-old business in an industry that has evolved significantly with a tremendous amount of regulatory oversight that obviously challenges them and how they do what they do with the technology. But we went from coming into them and having, a $5,000 to $6,000 a month MSP expense that wasn't helping them to innovate. That has literally, right, wrong, or different, through the enablement of cloud technologies, in particular, JumpCloud is one of those products, right? And interesting how we've integrated that into the Chrome endpoint environment for their field workforce. But they've innovated the business so much with the technology that we provide and the guidance that we've provided that those expenses have been cut by almost 80%. In the same time, the operational impact to the bottom line for them has increased 300x. So using the technology and working together with them, understanding their business needs and matching the deed to the need with technology, major impact, right? 300 plus X and bottom line impact and 80% reduction in the cost of technology.
Wow, that's amazing. And when you were looking to partner with JumpCloud, what was the connection to your vision? And how did you feel like a partner like JumpCloud could impact your organization and your customers? And how did that play out?
Yeah, and you said early on, I think even before we were recording, what's going on with the MSP industry, and we may be going there. And one of those things helps to answer this question. We became very clear to us 3+ years ago that we weren't anymore in the simple world of managed IT. Cybersecurity is a necessary evil, and if we're not proactively integrating cyber secure solutions into our service stack, then, as an MSP, we're going to be falling behind very, very quickly. And so as we looked holistically at the marketplace, saw the gaps that our customers were dealing with, that even we were dealing with as managed service providers, with understanding the complexity of the marketplace, right? We engineered what we call our top Cyber 21 cybersecurity framework, right? And that framework was an intent to take the complexity of cybersecurity, maybe from the origins of like a NIST framework written by engineers for engineers, and how do we sanitize that for the marketplace so that MSPs and our clients can make better choices about how to protect their investments, right, and themselves, their organizations, their data, their facilities, and their staff, right? And so IAM was a huge, you guys do a lot more than that, right? But that's so core, and we saw a need in the IAM space for simplification with increased security. And there's no question that the other people that we generally work with in the marketplace, in particular, perhaps Microsoft and Google Enterprise, great products. We use them all every day. We support them all every day. But, as we look for simplification, we weren't finding it there. And that's how we stumbled into you guys. I think it was probably at a trade show, and we thought, wow, this is something else. We entered into an evaluation process. We adopted it internally ourselves. We maintain a constant environment for ourselves that seamlessly integrates IAM through JumpCloud at the core of our operations, but we also connect it to Microsoft Azure, and we also connect it to Google Enterprise. But we still have that unified center point of simple identity management that is JumpCloud. So I hopefully that answers your question. But
yeah, absolutely. I love that unified center of simple. And on that, as a learning organization, we always want to try to be better for our partners and our customers. And so if you had a magic wand, what could we do for JumpCloud to better serve your customers together?
Yeah, that's a great question. You guys are constantly innovating. You're doing things that we would love to do. In fact, you're doing things that historically we've been doing with clients through other platforms. And I guess, to answer the question of how you guys could help us more, right, is continue to keep in dialogue with us, right? Continue to understand where the overlap is between the legacy solutions that we're taking to the marketplace that you guys are now very successfully bolting on to your core platform, right? And helping us to better understand the economics, the feature set differences, pros and cons between the legacy and the new JumpCloud component, and maybe find a way to operate more leanly, more simplicity in our organizations. I think that's an ongoing challenge that we have. The other challenge that I thought about before we jump on this call was, understanding, why would I choose JumpCloud over Microsoft? Let's say I had a client that doesn't currently have an investment in Microsoft or an investment in Google, and that's generally going to be a newer sort of startup business, whether they're small mom and pop shops or venture capital funded organizations. And those two organizations have been around a long time, and they do a whole lot more than JumpCloud does do, right? So I think inevitably those clients are going to end up there. And I think that what we've got to do is continue to work with partners like yourself to figure out how can we in that environment make JumpCloud a necessity, not a luxury, if that makes sense, right? So if I think about all the things that you theoretically do at higher levels of those two other platforms that we discussed, they do some of those same things, right? And it's almost like you can't unbundle those things. And so the problem becomes, and I'm talking about a financial conversation here, right? Problem becomes is how do I convince my MSP clients that they should make an investment in JumpCloud when the cost compared to the features, I'm getting simplicity, but I'm going to be paying a whole lot more, right? If I were bolting those two together. And or how can I get by without those things? Well, I don't think we can get by without email, right? We got to have email. And what other options do we really have besides Microsoft and Google that are viable, today? And so I think just making your partner community smarter about how to work in harmony with the other solutions that are inherently there, and how to do that economically in a manner that we can convey to our clients as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that feedback. And that's absolutely core to kind of how we're thinking about our open directory platform and moving forward. Last question for you. And so you've been in the industry for a while. I'm curious from your perspective, where do you see the MSP industry moving in the next 10 years or so? And kind of how is that going to continue to evolve in today's landscape?
Yeah, I think when I think about that question, and it's something I think about and experience daily, right? There is definitely globally among multiple industries a lot of roll up happening where we've got venture capital that's coming in and wanting to find folks that do things better than others, and then to scale, rather than starting from there and building, they're going out and doing a lot of acquisitions. And so I think that as an MSP, the way it's going, if you're not introducing security products, which we've already talked about, if you don't have innovative depth and breadth of partnerships with folks like JumpCloud, you're going to be less attractive for that kind of activity, right? Than probably your competitors and your peers. And so, translation into what I just said, I think there's two things going on. There's a whole lot of roll up that's happening in the industry, and I think that you need to be planning now to be either leading that, right? Like maybe you're the folks that are acquiring other MSPs, or you're the kind of MSP that's more attractive than your competitor down the street. And without question, if you're not prioritizing and becoming subject matter experts in the areas across the board of cybersecurity for your clients, then you're going to fall behind really quickly. So I think security and growth and M&A strategy is a big part of the MSP portfolio going forward. And I didn't say it, but I will expand on the cybersecurity side of things. Security operations. A lot of folks are outsourcing that. I don't think it's rocket science to bring that in-house if you have the bandwidth and you have the appetite for it. I think it gives you a deeper level of service and connectivity with your clients, and obviously that's something we've done, right? And I will say in closing, like the marketplace as a whole in IT now being complicated so much by real 24/7 cybersecurity risk, you got to have that subject matter expertise on the team. And if you don't, you're going to be passed up sooner rather than later by your competitors. So hopefully that is on point.
I think so. I think that's certainly trending where we're going. Well, and with that, Matt, thank you so much for your time and our audience and kind of sharing your advice and kind of what's going on in the world. And we wish you the best. And thank you again.
Hey, Chase, it's such a pleasure. We enjoy working with your team every day. So thank you.
Appreciate it.